Hey everyone, it's Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. Welcome to my channel. I mostly do nail tutorials here for press-ons, for stickers, sometimes for other things, but check out all my playlists. I have one for all of my nail tutorials, and then I have separate ones by the type of nail, like press-ons, UV stickers, non-UV stickers, etc. Today I'm trying the Nail Reformation brand. It's press-ons that were highly recommended by some of you. It's not a sponsored video. I purchased this with my own money. I will also be showing you this viral TikTok glue. I didn't actually buy mine on TikTok. I bought it at the source at Sally's Beauty. I'll put links for everything in the description box, but this glue really impressed me. Last time I used it, it lasted me about 2 weeks, which is longer than any nail glue I've ever used. Instead of doing the Nail Reformation glue, I'm sure there's one in the kit, I will be sticking with this one because I loved it so much. Step 1 for any manicure, whether you're doing gel, regular polish, press-ons, or stickers, is to push back the cuticle. And technically, that's not what it actually is called. I can never pronounce the proper term. The cuticle is a living tissue. What we're pushing back here are some skin cells that are no longer living. And basically, we just don't want to put anything over them because that's where you're going to have lifting. I prefer to use a metal cuticle pusher. I got mine, I think this one is from Amazon, just like my last one was. And I still have the one that I've been using before, but I got this one because it has a little sharp pointy thing, and sometimes it makes sense to go in like this and kind of scrape a bit off. And I use the word scrape, but definitely don't go so hard that you're going to dent the nail. I would honestly rather have a shorter lasting manicure than have damage to my nails. The point here is to just get rid of all of that little skin that's flaking off. If you prefer, you could use an orange stick, one of those little wooden sticks. A lot of the times nail brands include them in the kits. I like this metal one, or another option would be to use liquid cuticle remover. However, typically with those you still need some kind of tool to then gently push the cuticles down. Then I've seen some people use glass. They're not nail files, they're like a little glass stick, and they use that to sort of scrape off the cuticle. So if you tried that, let me know, because I've been a little bit curious, but I told myself I probably don't need to buy another thing because I do have a cuticle tool already. Right off the bat, I haven't even fully opened this yet, and I'm already impressed because not only does the brand include the glue, but they also have this tiny cuticle oil and this little cuticle remover tool. Honestly, I am not coordinated enough to use these. These are supposed to cut the cuticle, and you kind of run them along the edge. And when I was a kid, I've tried those and definitely mangled my nails. I'm not going to be trying that, but if you like that kind of thing, it's kind of cool that they included. Here are the nails. And it's been wintry here. We're supposed to get a storm here this week, but I am in the spring mood. Honestly, because we already had a couple of 50-degree days, Fahrenheit that is. And their little tool that normally is a wood stick, there's this little plastic one. I like that. A little nail file. Alcohol prep pad. And then a couple extra nails. I do have to say that I love that they include 2 trays of nails instead of just one little display tray and the rest in the bag, because this is going to make it so much easier for me to find the sizes. Even if you know the numerical size of your nail from a different brand, I always recommend actually trying them on before putting glue on when you're using a new brand. For example, in the Dashing Diva Magic Press, which is what I typically use, I do a 10 on the pinky. But here a 10 was too wide, so I'm going with 11. And this is not uncommon, that the higher the number, the smaller the nail size. So a 0 would be the biggest usually, and like 10 or 11 would be the smallest. So this is a 10, this is 11. I'm lining it up, just making sure that it fits, and then I push it down to spread it. These ones are actually fairly flat, which is good. I have flat nail beds, but sometimes they're very curved, and so you want to push down a bit and have the nail spread a little bit and feel if there's too much pressure on the sides of your finger, and that would tell you that it's too big. Or sometimes maybe you think it'll spread and it doesn't and it's too narrow. You want full coverage of the nail without going over any skin. I lined these up in order of application off camera a little bit here. A couple things I want to mention. One, the sizes on the nails are super hard to see. They're sort of embossed here on the underside, but it's very, very, very faint. So what I thought was a size 11, and I was talking about earlier in the video, it's actually a size 12. It makes it very difficult to see the sizes. The nice thing is this size here was the same as this size here. This here is the same as here. So once you kind of know which one you need from one row, you can just go to the same spot in the next row. and get the matching one for the other hand. Another thing is super frustrating is this defect right here. And this is unfortunately the size of the thumb that fits me, and it's obviously like a glaring dot. I'm still going to use it. The alternative would be to go size up and then file the edges and make it thinner, but then possibly also clip the top and file that, and it's probably just not going to look the same. You can see that a lot of these have a silver edge because I think they did a silver nail with this blue overlay for the blue ones. And so I don't know what that will look like when I clip it and file it. That is not going to match the rest of the nail. So I think I'll just live with this, but know that it is driving me nuts. Other than that, I had no problem finding my sizes, and the nails seem to be like pretty good quality. They don't feel flimsy or anything. They're thin, but not in a bad way. You don't want anything too thick because it really looks like you have plastic on your hands. I want it to look more or less like actual nails with some designs on them. I waited to do this step on purpose until after I was done lining up the nails because I don't want to be touching my hands and trying on the nail sizes after I sanitize them or alcohol wipe them. The purpose of this step is just to get rid of any remaining oil that you have on the nail beds. You don't want to put glue or stickers on oily surfaces. A lot of the tutorials will tell you to go ahead and rough up the surface of your nails with a nail file before you apply nails. I'm not going to do that. My nail surfaces are already fairly ridgy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nail ridging is nothing uncommon. It's partially could be age-related, it could be different health things, or could just be how your nails are. So I am not going to rough them up. I'm okay, like I said earlier, to have a slightly less long-lasting manicure, kind of instead of damaging my nails. And a lot of the times I see advice to put glue on the nail bed and on the nail itself. And if you can do that, that is the best. But I usually have to do one or the other because I am not coordinated enough to handle a nail with glue on it and a press-on nail with glue on it at the same time. I always end up spilling something. So I put some glue on the press-on, and I'm going to gently here kind of put pressure on everything. I don't want to rock back and forth. I'm just moving my finger, this top pressure finger, a little bit back and forth, but I'm not rocking a ton. So I want to apply even pressure to the whole thing. I want that glue to spread a little bit in there. What I don't want to happen is air bubbles to get trapped because I'm rocking back and forth really quickly. And I also don't want to risk picking up, if there's any glue that's spilling on the sides right now, I don't think there is, but if there were, and I was rocking back and forth quickly, I could pick up that glue and spread it all over the top. And the only way, or the best way I know of how to fix that if that happens, is to just put a clear coat of gel polish on top and then cure it under the light. The reason I'm doing press-ons today is because I'm short on time. And yes, I'm filming, of course, but I always do part of the application off camera. I kind of finish it off. And the press-on part of the application is going to be a lot faster for me to do than a sticker would. That's why I'm picking it today for time reasons. I don't want to be then getting my lamp out and doing all that. So now I put glue on my nail. Now it's not all the way edge to edge. You see that? There's a good amount of glue, but it's not all the way to the edge because I'm trying to avoid spillage. Now I'm going to take the nail. I'm going to go at an angle. I'm going to start at this cuticle part. I'm going to line it up and kind of push it into the skin here a little bit. Make sure that it's straight and then gently lay it down. Objects lay, people lie. That's the rule for remembering which word to use. Okay. And now, see, I got glue already right there. So I'm just going to pick that off, pick my hand off and not rock it back and forth. The see-through opaque nails are the hardest to use in a good way because it's always like showing the glue. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera. This is the finished look. I like it. I hate that little defect. That is going to drive me nuts, but I don't hate it enough to have to try and do anything about it. I guess we'll see how wild it makes me as the days go on. I have to look at it. Absolutely love the length. This is my preferred length. I love, 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 love short press-ons because they're just so comfortable for me. I do a lot of things with my hands and I prefer to have short nails. That's what you see in most of my videos. The nice thing is that the thumbs are very much in line lengthwise. I did run into this with some other brands where the thumbs were significantly longer than the rest of the nails. That is not the case here. These were easy to apply. One thing I forgot to mention, actually two things. Thing one is don't do what I do. You should put glue on your nail and then give it a few seconds before you actually apply the press-on top. You want it to get a little bit tacky. It's just easier. Otherwise, you have to maintain that pressure for longer, and it's just a little more annoying. So I have to constantly remind myself to do that. And when I do that, it's much easier to have the nail stick because it sticks right away, versus if I do glue and then nail on it right away and then put pressure, if I let go even a little bit, the nail starts to kind of lift back up because the glue is just not tacky enough yet. Thing number two, I prefer to go from pinky to thumb, and that's a very calculated thing. I do my thumbs last because most of the time, for most of the nails, I use the thumb to apply pressure. And it's easier to do if your thumb itself does not have a fresh nail on it. This is the other hand. It worked out to be every other one color-wise. Usually I try to do it a little bit differently, like have two of the same or something, but okay, whatever. We have kind of like a zebra thing here with just alternating designs. But overall, I'm really happy with this. Of course, everything will depend on how they wear, and hopefully they wear well. And another tip that I learned through all of my different trials of press-ons is, honestly, it does not matter how good your technique is. If the nail is crappy or the nail is not made well, it's not going to last and it's not going to look good. So I highly, highly, highly suggest getting that Beauty Secrets nail glue, this one. And the last time I used it was the last time I filmed, and I have that video posted. Oh, not the last time I filmed, but it was the last time I filmed press-ons. This little thing here, it goes into the nozzle inside. It's like a little pin, and it keeps it from being clogged. And true enough, just like advertised, this was actually clog proof and it hasn't dripped anywhere. So I really like it. Again, not sponsored, bought with my own money, but well worth the money. And I think it's going to last me probably longer than the 12 months. I mean, like, there's more in here than a year's worth, but I'm guessing after 12 months it just stops being good. That's what this means. And there's a little open jar and the number in there. That's how long after opening it's good. And if your expiration date is different, the expiration date is for when the product is unopened. A lot of the times the expiration date will be, let's say, 3 years from now. Well, that's if you don't open it. Once you open it, you have to use this little symbol here as your guide. But overall, I'm very happy with them. And another thing is they don't have these super visible, very noticeable little tabs from the manufacturing process like a lot of the brands do. So I actually didn't have to file any. Some brands have little noticeable tiny bumps here, and I think that's why they usually include a little nail file. And this brand is no different. They included a little nail file, but I didn't use it because it's really very smooth here, and to me, this is fine and I'm not going to mess with it. I would tell you what the name of the design is, but it's actually not anywhere on the package. This is Nail Reformation. If I find the exact design online, I will put a link in the description box below. Otherwise, you probably have different tastes anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. You can find me on Instagram at KBeautyHobbit, my blog, KBeautyHobbit.com, and in my private Facebook group, Korean Beauty Fanatics. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you're having a wonderful week, and I hope to see you in my next video. Until next time, bye-bye.